I saved the most difficult trek I had planned for my Peru trip for the last day. Now, this isn't a very technical trail, and it doesn't have a ton of elevation gain. My watch recorded about 1,500 feet. What makes this trek difficult is the altitude, especially if you're like me and live at about 1,600 feet. The trek I'm referring to is Rainbow Mountain and Red Valley. The summit of Rainbow Mountain sits at 16,522 feet, or approximately 10 times the elevation of where I live. The highest point I had been to before this was just under 14,000 feet when I did the trek to Humantay Lake a few days earlier. I was really feeling the altitude on my way to Humantay Lake, so I was unsure how today would go. Fortunately, spending a couple of days in Cusco did help. I certainly still felt the altitude, but it was definitely manageable. Let me know down in the comments what's the highest you've been and how did it go? I love hearing other people's adventure stories. The trek to Rainbow Mountain starts off relatively mellow and gets steeper as you approach the summit. Our guide let everyone hike at their own pace with predetermined meeting points along the way to make sure everyone was doing okay. And I feel that's a really good way to structure a guided trek like this, especially when you're unfamiliar with the rest of your group. If you really want to see Rainbow Mountain but are unsure about hiking at that altitude or your ability to keep up with the group, there are horses available and they seem pretty friendly.
We are doing excellent. What's it going down?
I use them. Using that. Yeah, Tyler is in his fan already.
The stairs felt tough, but by the time you get here, you know you're almost to the top. Though I do use the word top loosely. At the top of the stairs, there's a landing where you can buy snacks and take photos, and some people do stop here. But opposite of the view everyone wants to take in is a relatively short climb to the actual summit, so even though I thought I was done at the top of the stairs, I had to continue on and actually summit.
Las fotos bonitas son de la mitad. Llamas are long neck, llamas.
This section to the summit was the most technical section of the day, with everything else being a pretty straightforward path, but that was due to some icy conditions. I was here around the end of May, but despite being comfortable in a t-shirt in Cusco, it was a bit chilly at this altitude.
One moment. The idea is we talk people.
Our guide said since we all made good time to Rainbow Mountain, we had the choice to either go to Red Valley or return to the van. Our group decided to visit Red Valley, which does have an additional entrance fee of 20 soles, or about $6 US. In my opinion, the view was well worth it.
Con mosquito, ya nos está diciendo this?
Yeah.
They are ordered.
I couldn't understand everything he was saying because, yeah. Well, he also. Dale, 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 dale.
Look how far the mountains go.
Ahora,
Eso digo yo.
sí, sí, sí.
After everyone took photos and enjoyed the view, our guide said we were still making good time, and we could either go back to the van the way we came, or take a different scenic way back. The group agreed to take the different way back, as long as there was no more uphill. I think my group and our guide had different definitions of no more uphill, but there was minimal elevation gain from this point, and the walk back to the van was quite scenic. If you're like, wow, it looks like this girl constantly has a hard candy in her mouth, it's cause I basically did. The grocery store down the road from my hotel had caramel flavored coca candies, which seemed to help a bit, plus they tasted good, and this was my last full day in Peru, and you can't bring coca candy, or coca tea for that matter, back to the States. Which was mildly disappointing as I thought the coca tea was quite good. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to be always adventuring.